Hello there, empowered principals. Happy to be here with you today. Happy Monday. Hello there, empowered principals. Happy Monday. Happy to be here with you today. Not sure if the video started on time. So, saying hello once more. Um, Happy Monday. Happy to be here with you on this beautiful day. And just checking in, seeing how the week has started for you, what your goals are for the week. Really cheering you on and celebrating this beautiful start to the new school year. EPC is getting underway, so I'm excited about that. We'll be starting in September, and really just sending lots of love and support. I know this time of year can feel very overwhelming, lots of things to do, big long to-do list. It's really busy, but you are handling it. And speaking of handling it, I want to just quickly talk about the work. So we often hear people say, she did the work, or he did the work, or I'm doing the work, or I've done the work. And I've had people ask me, like, what are they talking about? What's the work? Like, I'm working, I'm doing the work because I'm working and I'm trying and I'm grinding and I'm hustling and I'm scheduled from the beginning of the morning till the end of the night, and I'm doing all the things, but I don't feel like it's working, but I am working. So what is the work? What are they talking about, the work? And I've contemplated this because we've heard a lot of people say, or you see it on social media, like doing the work, what that means. So in my personal world and in the world of the empowered principal, there is the work, which is the work we are doing, right? The actions that we are taking in the position that we are serving, that we are currently serving. There's the work. There are getting in and doing the things. And then there's the work that is internal. So there's internal work and there's external work. And what I have found to be true, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I'm wondering if you've had this similar experience where perhaps you're going through a season where you're having to step back and do a lot of internal processing. Maybe you're grieving the loss of a loved one, or you're grieving the job you didn't land, or you got let go from your position, or moved. Maybe you were moved to another position, or something with your career. Or perhaps, like, maybe you're grieving the loss of a really good teacher. Maybe they got a promotion or they moved out of state or something. There's internal work that we do. That is the mental and emotional processing of events in our life, of situations that happen, of circumstances that occur. And that, oftentimes people call that the work. You need to do the work inside. Then there's there's emotional processing, which we call the work. There is identity work, which is what I focus on in expanding and evolving a school leader's identity to help them expand their empowerment, their influence, their impact, their legacy. And there's the expansion of who they are, what they believe. And then, we have that kind of work where we're expanding mindset, we're expanding perspective, we're expanding possibilities, we're tapping into potential. And then there's that external work. It's the things that we do, the things that we say, the way that we behave, the habits we build, I talked about this yesterday, the empowered routines that we put into place to then create externally the outcomes we want. And we do the work, which is our decisions, our actions, our approach to, and then there's the work that we do, right? What the title of the work we do. We are a school leader. That's the work that I do. People, what do you do for your work? I'm a school leader. That's also called the work, right? And, as a school leader, what do I do all day? I work with children. I talk with them. I interact with them. I work with teachers. I talk with them. I interact with them. I observe them. I collaborate with them. I work with parents. I work with experts in the field. I work with our special education experts. I work with our reading specialist, our instructional coach. I work with outside experts that come in. I work with the tech experts in my district, the building experts, the maintenance, the busing, the transportation department, the lunch program, all of that. So we work under the title of our position. All of this to say that there's internal work that we do and there's external work we do. There are things that we process internally, and there are identity shifts that we make internally. And those internal workings, so a lot of us, people will they're not doing the work. They haven't done the work. Meaning they're going through the motions, they're doing the job, right? They're doing the work externally, but they haven't, their internal world is not in alignment with the external actions. So the energy that's fueling their motions, their actions, their decisions, their approach to school leadership, it's almost like you're a robot. You're doing the work. Like Principal A is over here going through the motions, doing the external work, like checking the boxes. And you're technically doing the job, the work. But there can be a misalignment inside if your identity is not in alignment with an empowered principal identity, if you are processing something mentally, emotionally, psychologically that can create limitations or harbor you or hold you back in some way where you're going through the work, but it's not in alignment internally. So there's that kind of work. And then there is the opposite of that, where you spend so much time. If you're a person who, you're like me, you have big feelings, you have a lot of feelings, you really feel other people, you feel their energy, you feel their emotions, you empathize, lots of compassion, you seek to understand and to be considerate of people's feelings, and you kind of take on their emotional weights, their emotional laboring when they're emotional processing. You can get caught in that, and you can be spending so much time doing that work that it bogs you down, or it consumes your energy and effort and time and focus, that you're not able to then do the external work. And I've seen myself on both ends of the spectrum. I've seen clients on both ends of the spectrum where they are in something really big and they can barely function externally because it's consuming so much of their effort and their time and their focus, their attention, to just get through the emotional experience that they're going through, the emotional turmoil or the mental turmoil, psychological turmoil. So we can be on one end where we're kind of doing things robotically, but we're not checking in internally and processing emotions in real time and expanding our identity and doing that work. Or it can be the flip, where we are so incapacitated because we are processing so much emotion, or we kind of spin out. Like if something happened last year and you haven't been able to process that and reconcile that and bring closure to it and learn from it and move forward, there's a difference between resilience and hypervigilance, where have you really resolved it and are resilient and are moving forward because you've learned from it and you're free of it, but you're wiser for it and you're moving on? Or are you now just hypervigilant? That could be a whole nother conversation here, but are you hypervigilant where I learned from that, I'm never gonna let that happen again, and so now I'm being extra careful and extra cautious? There's a different kind of approach to those two different topics, those two different ways of thinking and processing emotion. But the most empowered school leaders out there are in tune with both. They're in tune with their identity work, they're in tune with their emotional internal processing work, the internal work that they need to do, reconciling when they've done something wrong, when they can take full ownership, when they have emotional maturity, when they can apologize, when they can repair and make it right, when they can take different action based on what they've learned from that experience. That's really tough to do. A lot of times we process that down, we hide, we go into fight or flight, we don't want to deal with it. So we will go through the motions of school leadership without reconciling the internal work that we have to do. So the empowered principle is about the holistic nature of your experience. It's about all of the work, the entirety of the work that you do, the internal work, the identity work, along with the external actions that you have to take. That combination is what makes you an absolute powerhouse. When you're able to take full ownership of the internal work, the processing, the reconciliation, the resilience, the moving forward, the wisdom you gain, the ownership, the emotional maturity, you're able to process mistakes, errors, missteps, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and learn from them, and then be able to let them go so you can apply them into the actions that you take in the future. So when you're able to do the identity work plus the emotional maturity and processing and emotional regulation piece and moving forward, along with the external work, when those three things are in alignment, there's nothing that can stop you. That is when you create influence, impact, which creates your legacy. That's the empowered principle legacy formula that I teach my clients, is that in order to create a legacy, you have to have had impact. In order for the impact, you have to have some influence. And how do we do that? It starts with identity work. So when you hear people talking about the work this year, I've done the work, or I haven't done the work, or they haven't done the work, or they have done the work, be curious. Which work have they been working on? Where are they focusing? Have they really been working on their identity as a teacher? Have they been working on their identity as a student or a parent or a support staff member? Have they been doing the work on their emotional growth? They've had some processing to do and some ownership to take responsibility for and regulation of their emotional energy. Have they been doing that work, or have they been clearing that up so they can get in alignment with their action work, the things that they have to do? It's fascinating to think about work in this way. And I believe this is what makes the coaching really work for us, when we are understanding that there's internal work to be done, there's identity work to be done, and there is external work to be done. So I'd be curious to hear what comes up for you. What is the area of work that you are focusing on? Is it in the action? Lots of us are getting the action mode, that external work. But does it feel in alignment? Does it align to the identity that you have? Or does it feel like imposter syndrome, a little bit like, oh, I'm faking it till I make it, or fraud work? Or, like I'm fraudulent here in some way, shape, or form, but there's no evidence of that. Your brain just offers you that. Is it emotional heaviness? Like maybe you had an emotionally heavy year last year and that's being carried into this year. Processing that and being able to clear that so you have a fresh, clean space for the external work you need to do. We need clean spaces, clean identities, strong, empowered identities. We need clean emotional and mental spaces to be able to show up in order for the work that we do externally, all those decisions and actions that you're taking every day, making those matter, making them impactful, having influence, being a person of influence, a leader of influence, where you are in alignment with who you are, your emotional energy that's fueling your actions. And that, my friends, is the success legacy, right? It's the success formula. So influence, impact, and legacy. We work on that in EPC. I love this work. I love the work you're doing. I love conversations around this. I could talk with you about it all day. I really hope you find these helpful. If you do, invite people into our group or share this video with them. I'd be more than happy to spread this word, to let principals know you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to, do all of this work in isolation. You can do it collaboratively in a group. You can do it one-on-one in one-on-one coaching. There are so many options and so many opportunities. So congratulations on the new school year. Please let us know how you're doing. Ask us any questions you have. We'd love to support one another and just be a shining light in your upcoming school year, to cheerlead you on, to support you, and to be here for you when you need just some TLC. So have a beautiful rest of your evening. We'll talk to you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.